Welcome back. Today we have a 2003 RAV4 in the garage that needs a power door lock actuator installed. So it's been giving my daughter some trouble for a little while. Now it just finally gave up. There's the item. There's a part number for the passenger side. Now to do this we got to remove the complete latch assembly in the door. And while we're in here, I'll show you how to diagnose some power window problems if you have them also. So let's get started. We need to remove the door panel. There is a little door right there you need to pry open to get to the screw that's behind it. You will have to pry open this little cover over here from the bottom, and there's two screws here and here. You have a little plastic clip, unwind with a screwdriver, pop it off. This piece here will have to come off, and the rest of the door panel is held on with like push clips, plastic clips all around it. So let's get this going. Oh yeah, also to take this out here, you could pry that back. There's a metal clip underneath there to get the lock switch off over there, and window switch. All right, I got a small flat-bladed screwdriver to open that little door here. Phillips tip. Unscrew that. Again, flat-bladed screwdriver. They have little plastic clips on here to kind of hold that in place. Got to pry down on them to pop them off the little stud that they're on. Pop that off. The plastic clip here, just back it out with a screwdriver, grab it with your fingers. Pop that off. Flat bladed screwdriver here on the bottom. That pops off. Two Phillips head screws here. Complain and squeak. Yep. The metal clip is right on the front of this edge, so right there. You pop that out. We are going to unplug that. Unplug that. Start on the bottom of the door with a little pry tool. Put that out of the way. Now we got to peel back plastic on here. We got some 10mm nuts here. Some of them are sheet metal screws. Some of them are threaded bolts. I think I've got to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then you have the Torx head screws on the latch assembly itself. We're also going to remove the bolt holding this on. We're going to need to have some slack in here to pull the latch assembly out. So this can be out of the way. And those clips here out of the way. Now here's the part that will be hard to show. You need to disconnect the handle coming to the latch and the lock cylinder coming to the latch. The rod for the lock mechanism, the key, is on that little orange thing here, so you have to kind of pry. You got to pry it off the clip. There, and now we need to get the door handle itself disconnected from the lock. So that's on that plastic clip right there. You need to move the clip which direction has to come. has to go that way off of the rod and then pop that off. So let's get that moved. And that should pry it off of this. And it's hard to see, but then you can pop that off. So now both of those are disconnected. We can get to these 3 Torx bolts, take them out, and pull the latch assembly out. And there is a 10mm bolt over here also that removes the window track. You need to pull the window track on the inside out of the way. So we'll get that bolt removed also. We got the bolt out for the window track that holds it in place, and you can slide it right out. The rubber piece is going to remain. We could just kind of pull that up out of the way over here someplace. Now also here, you'll need some room to move the wires. There's a clip that sticks out here. Just pry it, pop it in. There is another one here. Sometimes you could push it off from the back. Okay, we have everything loose, and this whole thing should come out. This is why you need this loose, to give you a little more space. We're just going to drop this down. And here is our lock actuator. Unplug it. Need a little help prying here. There we go. Make sure it looks the same. Yes, it does. Good. Plug looks the same. Yes. Now, there are a few Phillips head screws that hold this in place, but one of them is underneath this cover, so you need to get the cover out of the way. So let's remove that cover. There's a screw here that holds the cover on. That goes right to the lock actuator itself. Another one that goes through the latch into the plastic on that cover. So we'll get that off. This out of there. There we go. Slide that out. Here is our other 2 screws here, the one under the cover. And the other one here. The lock switch engages this one right on here onto the actuator, and there's like a little ball stud that the other one sits on. So you have to kind of pop it off the cable end, and it's off. I'll try to show you a close-up of it in a second. There's a hole here, and the cable has a little bent end, so you have to kind of go in and around to get it in. A little notch here is where a little ball stud here will engage. So we're going to get that underneath here. Get the ball in its place and line up your screw heads. Now, I love helping people fix their own cars, but I am going to ask for something in return from you, and that is to subscribe. Put a like on there, put a thumbs up on it, and subscribe. That would help me out. All right, here's a close-up of all this stuff that's going on here. Here is the cable that comes from your locking switch up there by the door handle. So that has a little bend and a twist in it that goes through that hole. There's a little ball stud over here that connects onto this lever that attaches to the rod that goes up to the key switch on the outside door lock. But before we put the cover back on and screw everything back together, I am going to lube all the stuff in here. There is quite a bit of grease, but you know, it can't help but being a little more lubricated. So we're going to oil everything up and put the cover back on and continue reassembling it. Got the screw hole there, and the other one goes on the back of the motor right there. Get our plug back on. And if you want, while we're here, let's plug in our lock switch, see if it's working. Beautiful. And now we get to put it all back up in here again. Feed the whole assembly up. I just realized something. This bolt doesn't need to come out. That's for the window track. My bad. Sorry about that. Let's get my face up in there and see if I can do this. My headlight on. Once you get it into the hole there, then you could push the whole assembly back down. And it latches in place. That's all. Tighten up all the bolts. Put that back in place. And now our window track could go back in. Slide the rubber in. We got everything tight. Make sure everything works in. Put our plastic shield back in place. Beautiful. Now when we're here, I'll show you how to diagnose power window problems. The motor is right there, and here's the power feed coming out of it. If you have a voltmeter, you could put it across the two terminals here and then watch what the voltage does. Let's get a voltmeter out here and show you. All right, so if you have a window that is not functioning and you're not sure what it is, the first thing you want to do is get to this point with your voltmeter. Now you should see voltage, negative or positive. We got 11 volts negative and 11 volts positive. So we know the switch is good. Okay, you know the switch is good because you have power coming to the motor, but you want to test the motor while it's still in the car to make sure the motor is working. So I got a little battery pack here. We have the connectors right there. It's hard to really see the terminals. We're going to just jump them directly with these wires to see if the window goes up and down. All right, we got our hot leads. Do not let them touch together because they will spark. So we are going to touch one there. And I am having trouble seeing there in the hole. There we go. We go down, good. We'll reverse the polarity again. All right, so you know your motor's good. If you have any other issues, could be the master switch has a problem, but I know everything is working in this, but we're just showing you how to diagnose it. So now let's put the rest of this back together.